Welcome back to another XC episode. This morning, we are, if you can remember back to when we were doing the manifold, got it cut, got it sort of mocked up. Today is the day we're going to get it welded. So we're going to go down to a bloke who is a little bit better than me at TIG welding, let's put it that way. So we actually need to take the whole engine there because it needs to be welded on the motor to get the angles right and keep it bolted down so it doesn't want to warp and flex up. So we're going to start this week's episode off with that, but also we got turbos. Once we get the manifold back, we can stick this bar on and start actually adding all this exciting stuff to this motor. So let's rip into it. Right, we made it. We're here down with Paul, and he's just given us a little tour of like all the cool shit he's got here. That, believe it or not, is his front garden, and he drives across it with some buggies and stuff. So he's absolute frother with all this gear. So I'm gonna TIG this manifold up. He's done, well, like you do diffs, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, diffs, alley welding.
Pretty much anything fab, absolute wizard with. So the biggest thing with this manifold is making it airtight. I don't trust my own welds when it comes to like alley TIG, so we need to make sure it'll hold the boost, and the other thing is like warping. So that's why we've brought the motor down so it can actually be clamped to the top of the heads so it doesn't want to move, and hopefully it should come out right. But you haven't seen my home job bloody manifold though. He's so freaking whack. Do not shake in here. We just cleaned the room. All right, here we are, we're back. I just went and picked up the manifold from Paul. Now, he's welded half of it, as much as we could do, because I need to work out the positioning of the supercharger so the pulleys line up before we do the top plate and put all the sides in. But he's done a pretty mint job. Really nice welds for something he said he pretty much just rushed and smashed together. So way better than what I could have done. He's welded the inside and outside, so it should be airtight. So now that we've got the manifold back, we can start seeing the picture of how it's gonna look. Like, we can use imagination for a bit, but blower sits somewhere there. Work out the position that it's gotta sit. As you go across a bit. And then there'll be carbies on there, and then the intake manifold, so it's sort of be sitting like that. So now we've got all that sitting there, I can start positioning the turbos because they arrived literally like half a week ago. So, some shiny parts. We got some Pulsar turbos. So I went with PSR because it's literally half the price of anything else, and they're really good turbos, and they're one of the only manufacturers that could actually do reverse rotation. So if you look at them, they're the opposite direction. So everything looks symmetrical and proper. I can clock the turbo where I want it, so you can rotate the housings to get the right direction you want. These are, I believe they're like 76 mil, so pretty big. Should look pretty flash on here. So the job today is to find out how to mount them. I want them sitting sort of like that-ish. So I'm gonna do a little 90 V-band off there, mount it here. I'm thinking I could like hang it from the roof. So get a bit of string and just hang the turbo, position it where I want, get the rotation right, and start tacking up some exhaust pipes. Once that's done, start working on the intake piping that runs up to that intake manifold. So plenty to do now that we got the turbos. We also got external gates and blow-off valves as well. I've made some little brackets here, which I think is how I'm gonna mount it. So that'll go on here, which is like the drain port, and then weld a plate which comes down to meet the head and attach it there. So let's get these mocked up, sitting roughly where they wanna be, and we'll be into it.
You wear a hat they call dad. Me, I'm the dad in a hat. You just like clubbing and clothes. Me, I like afternoon naps. 3 I be missed for the road. My oldest like counting racks. My middle one, she's in a dirt bike. My youngest is just like a mama. The mama loves me and I love her, so if she wants something, it's never a bother. 3 little ladies, my babies, and 1 on the way. Now I'm stressing my mama. And don't try to play around, don't try to play with them unless you're looking for problems. So don't try to play around, don't try to play with them. My brother's out with the drama. 4 to 5 nights on the road. Counting the days till I'm home. I could do show after show, but nothing is better than home. Driving through nights I'm alone. Counting the days till I'm home.
All right, smooth sailing so far. Turbo 1 is kind of mounted. Just dropped a couple of tacks on a pipe here. Hanging from the roof was actually really useful to get it kind of in the ballpark. I was able to disassemble the turbo and just play with the rear housing to get that mounted up. And now I've slotted the center part because that little bracket that I've made, I don't know, I'll try and get it on camera, but I fully jagged it because I made these plates like a few days ago before I even had the engine. And the way that this manifold's sitting is actually perfectly in line with the head here, which is where I want to bolt it to. So that's a fluke. So I'm going to jump on Fusion now and design up a little plate to go here. We'll get it cut out on the machine, bolt it on and drop a couple of tacks. And the reason I'm doing that is these are not small turbos. They're fairly heavy. I'll try and get a weight and put it on the screen how heavy each one is. But all of that force bouncing around on this exhaust pipe is going to cause it to want to crack. So just having that extra support down to the block, down to the head there, will give it a little bit more rigidity to stop that exhaust from cracking. Once that's on, intake side. Well, actually the other side first. Forget there's two of these. Second turbo's on. You can see why I've gone for that reverse rotation now, because it's like fully symmetrical. Took a bit of muck around to get them the right height, the right angle, because those headers that I got from the States don't actually come out at the same spot. So I mirrored what I did, but it didn't quite work out. We've adjusted it now. Everything's tacked up. So I'm gonna go around and fully TIG weld all that exhaust pipe now. Make some little exhaust stacks shooting out the back here, just little short ones. Easiest exhaust I've ever made in my life, just a little 90. And then we can start doing intake stuff once I get my carbies. So all in all, it's actually pretty easy. I've been ticking away all afternoon. I made a couple of, these are the little screamer pipe outlets. So on the actual exhaust, the screamer pipe goes onto there. Had to cut out a little angled piece to go on there. I just need to buy a hole saw to cut into that. I've been working on the exhaust pipes as well. There's two ways we can do this. Either cut straight across there, put a couple 100 mil of length on the back of the turbo, or do what I did on the drift car where you do kind of like a teardrop end, add another piece and do a flush cut along there, and it gives it like a real sharp point. I think what I'm gonna do is make it like this first, because I can always go back and cut that later. See how this looks with it having like a bit of a rise that goes up, or if it looks better just super flush, we'll do it like that. I do need to keep in mind that I'm gonna have like a little injector spark plug in here somewhere for shooting the flames, so I need some space for that, but it could go in here somewhere. But that's what I'm gonna do now, make up a couple of exhausts and just see how they look. So this is what the first little mock-up of the exhaust will look like. Pretty happy with it. It might be a little bit long, but once you start adding more stuff around it, it should be fine. What I want to do now is just mark up on this pipe here where the external gate's going to go. So it's pretty much going to come off the side here. We'll spin the screamer pipe off the back, and that'll also come up here as well. So that might help tie in and fill a bit of this empty space in here with that screamer pipe coming up. So yeah, let's get them welded up. Have to use a little 2-inch hole saw, get it shaped up, mock up the other side to make sure that all is square like this one. And then the last thing to do is really make the little screamer pipe, and that's pretty much all the piping done. Alrighty guys, it's been a little bit of a while since we've done a YouTube giveaway. So today, we're actually giving away an awesome prize. It is a full SP Tools toolkit. It'll literally get you started with anything. I started using SP Tools when I grew up. Mitch started his apprenticeship when he was using SP Tools. So it'll literally get off the ground running, working at home, getting into your apprenticeship, whatever you're doing. Valued at like literally over 1,500 bucks, I'm pretty sure. So this is a massive giveaway. All you gotta do to enter is pretty simple. Just comment down below and let me know what you're working on at the moment, whether it's your car, four-wheel drive, it could be your mum's car, fixing it on the weekend, chucking in a new alternator. Whatever you're doing, let us know. And also make sure you gotta be following SP Tools Instagram page. I'll put a link to that down in the description. Once you've done those two things, you are in the draw. I'll be announcing the winner in next week's YouTube episode, so be in it. Best of luck. All right, listen up, because you're about to learn some shit. I'm gonna go into a little bit more depth from painting the chassis that we're about to do, because I've done plenty of painting before on the channel, but for the new people who have joined, it's probably a good time to just revisit some of that. And we're doing this one slightly different. Now I'm saying slightly different because I don't want to have to do any prep sanding in between coats, because the chassis is a pain in the past to deal with all the different curves and welds and stuff. You don't want to have to worry about that. So what we've gone and done is got a wet on wet sort of setup here. So we're going to first, anytime you want to spray bare metal, what the chassis is, we first sanded it and we're going to clean it with some wax and grease remover, make sure there's nothing on there. Silicon is your enemy, grease is your enemy, oil is your enemy when it comes to paint. We're going to lay on some epoxy primer. Now that'll seal up the chassis, a couple of thick coats of that. This is a 2-pack, both of these are 2-pack, so we definitely want to make sure we wear a mask when we're doing this. It's very poisonous to breathe it in. So 2-pack epoxy primer. I'm just using a gun you can get from any automotive store. This is a slightly bigger one. We've got a 1.7 tip on there just to get some really thick coats on there. Once that's on, you let it dry a little bit, and then we're going to go for just a polyurethane gloss black. That's also a 2-pack with a hardener, and that should lay on gloss finish. We won't have to do any clear or anything. A couple of thick coats of that, lay it on quite heavy to the point where it's almost going to run but not quite, and that's how you get quite a nice flat finish. Thanks to Paulie, who actually gave me a little bit of help with this, of what products to use, because he's sprayed Max Diff, and I kind of like the look of how that came out, and he didn't have to do any prep in between either. So thanks Paulie for giving me a bit of guidance on what products to use, so I don't have to do those extra steps. So Mitch is sanding the chassis behind us. We'll get this thing cleaned up, start laying on some primer, and then we'll get paint on hopefully by the end of today. It's a good day to paint too. You want to make sure it's nice weather, not raining and not too hot. We're in the shade here, but enough humidity to make sure it dries properly. Okay, everything's got a beautiful green olive coating on it now. Even the white, it's like a dust, hey? It's the top coat. That's right, it's the top coat. Now the thing is with hardener, as it flies through the air, it normally dries and then lands, so you'll actually get dust everywhere, not paint, not too bad. We've got a first coat on, actually 2 coats are on, so the primer's done. Now we're gonna start laying the black. It's not as thick as I thought, but being a hardened 2-part paint, it's set pretty thick on there as well, so the welds are still visible, so it didn't hide as much as I'd hoped, but that's fine. The black should add another few layers of protection there. So it's pretty much dry to the touch now. Like if you dig a nail in, it's a bit soft, but as long as it's not tacky, we can start hitting the second coat. I'm gonna try a little bit first somewhere and just make sure it doesn't react and make a mess, because you don't wanna cover the whole thing and then it starts bubbling and doing funny things. So the good thing with this, no prep in between, it's wet on wet, so let's rip into it. Okay, now I've just assembled one side with all the turbo set up because I've started to prep the engine to run it in, which we're going to use a standard manifold without all the turbos and all that. But what I want to do is start working out oil and water lines as well. So with the oil drain from PSR, it actually comes supplied with a little AN fitting adapter which goes on the bottom of the turbo. I'm going to use Raceworks fittings from there down to the sump. Pretty much every hose on this thing is going to be from Raceworks. They've supplied a lot of parts for this. They even do these nice little sealed bands for the intake side with little O-rings and a bit of movement in there. But all of these fittings make stuff so much easier. I've used them on all of my builds, so I'm going to be using a ton of that. Now, instead of a dash 10, they're actually a dash 12 drain on these because they're a bigger turbo. Earlier, I welded on a dash 12 male end on the sump, so I just need to run one of those dash 12 lines, the braided lines, from this fitting down to the sump. Do the same for the other side. That's the oil drain sorted. I could probably do the oil feed line as well with just a little dash 4 fitting. I'm not sure where I'm taking the oil line from just yet, but it'll come up to the top of the turbo. Started looking at the external gate as well. That's mounted there, which we made those exhaust pipes, and I was just having a look at the actual exhaust for that. I think I might just come straight up to like a little 45 cut just before the tip there. I think I might wait until the whole engine's in the car to see where this would look good, because it's a very simple thing to make. Just weld a V-band on the end and work out where to cut it. I might put a little 45 on there to bring it out a bit, or come straight up or out the side, who knows. I'm not sure where the guard actually sits on the edge here, but we might leave that for a little bit, but at least the actual external gate is mounted. So let's start doing all these AN fittings, get these hoses sorted so everything's plumbed up oil-wise. Don't know if I'm gonna do water yet, and then it's pretty much ready to fire up. So hopefully in this episode, we'll be starting up the engine just on its own there. So let's get into it. Alrighty, both the drain lines are done. I made sure that the manifold all clears and the the bloody screamer pipe's gonna clear as well. You can, it's a little bit tricky if you get the tools right, you can actually turn a 90, 45, 30 degree Raceworks fitting. You can actually spin it on the seal there. It's pretty tight because it's like obviously a sealed fit. But if you get the spanners right, you can rotate it because the hose itself has a bit of a memory with the direction it wants to go. So you can't really change that, but you can sort of spin the top. But I've got it sitting pretty good. A nice clean run, plenty of distance from the exhaust, so I won't have to shield it. So now it's just doing the feed lines, which I figured I can't actually do at the moment because the fittings that I got are the wrong ones. So I'm gonna have to order some different fittings, go to a dash 4, and then we can finish off all the oil system. All right, I'm gonna end this episode with probably the final time we get to see this motor in its current stage. I've put everything on there, and it's the last time it's gonna be looking like this until it's all painted and finished. So let's take a look.